They're partners both at home and on the slopes. They started backcountry skiing in the European Alps, southern Germany, Switzerland, and Italy. They moved to California in 2005 and joined Crest Nordic Ski Patrol in 2006. So tonight, Anna and Tice will give us some pointers for safe backcountry travel. And so why don't we thank them for coming?
Anyway, so we prepared a presentation. It's pretty basic stuff. So let's first ask, who has been out in the snow before? Everybody. Okay. So who goes out on snowshoes? All right. Who goes out on skis? About the same.
Snowboards?
Snowboard.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, you do all three.
Yeah. Right. So
winter camping.
Yeah.
If you have any questions during the presentation, please go ahead and ask them.
Or remarks if you can share some experiences. Yeah, you're more than welcome to just pipe up and let us know. So when we prepared this presentation, we also went through our picture book and included the coolest pictures that we can find to kind of demonstrate the topics that we're talking about. And yeah, let's just get going. So this is what we will go over in the next hour. Oh yeah, so we'll first have this presentation and we'll go over how to stay warm, about water, nutrition and food, what do you bring, how do you protect yourself from the elements if you're camping out or when you just get surprised by a storm or maybe an injury in your group that makes you have to camp out. A little bit about navigation and route selection, and then about hazards like avalanche danger. So we have first a presentation, will take about 45 minutes or so, and then Anna will demonstrate what she brings out with her when she goes on a day patrolling in the backcountry. So when you're moving out in the snow, you will some activities will make you warm up, and some activities will cool you down. So when you are you generate heat by just your metabolism, that's digesting food is the fuel. When you start moving around, you'll heat up more, and when you sit close to a fire, you will also warm up. There are several ways in which you can lose heat, and for instance, conduction is when you are sitting on the snow without isolation. So that's when you sit on the snow without an insulating pad, you lose heat through direct contact with a cold surface. When it's windy, the wind will just kind of carry the heat of any exposed skin that you have by convection. When you are working out, climbing up that hill, and you don't take layers, you don't adjust your amount of layers you're wearing to the amount of heat you're generating, you will sweat. And once that sweat is evaporating, that will take up heat from the body as well. Just the heat needed to evaporate water. Then you lose heat by radiation. Just if you have any exposed skins, it will just it's not protected. You will just lose heat by that exposure to it doesn't even have to be windy, just when it's cold, radiation. And respiration, and it's when you are also sweating, the water is warm and you will lose heat that way as well. So those are just the kind of the physical ways where you can reduce the heat of your body. So the trick to this is to adjust to the level of exercise that you're doing. When you get going, you're usually cold, so you keep a bit more clothes on. After about 10-15 minutes, you warm up. You adjust your amount of clothes that you're wearing, and then as soon as you stop, you put clothes on to prevent it to cool off. So, this is one of the images that we show, like how not to go out in the backcountry. So this guy doesn't have the right shoes. In the snow, you don't want to go with bare feet. It looks like he's wearing cotton, and cotton is not good when it gets wet. It really cools you down very quickly. So you want to avoid cotton clothes. We always say either wool, smart wool that they have one, or merino wool undershirts, or any of the technical soft fleece and other materials that are synthetic work really well. So these are kind of three different situations where you adjust what you're wearing to the circumstances. This was a trip in 2005 at the end of the season. When we started at the trailhead, there was no snow, so we actually had to hike up for about 500 vertical feet before we could start skiing, and then you adjust your clothing accordingly. It's only basically summer clothes. This is an intermediate day. It's also not too early in the season. It's sunny, but it's not too warm. This is Anna, and you can see she's covered up, but it's still soft shell. Also note the sun protection, sunglasses, and also you cannot see it, but there's also sunscreen involved. And the more extreme, this is a day in the Italian Alps, and it was I think there was like 30 miles of wind, and it was I think minus 20 below. So you can see there's like no exposed skin. In this case, you want to wear ski goggles that also protect your face. So any exposed skin has the risk of getting frostbitten. And so under the outerwear is basically an hard shell, so windproof, breathable layer, and underneath you have insulating shells. And as long as you have enough air, immobilized air between you and the outside, you'll be comfortable. And then you have to watch out for hypothermia.
So if you're not properly clothed or it gets much colder than you expected, there's a risk of hypothermia. And mild hypothermia, probably most of us have experienced it. It's that when your core temperature goes below 96, you start to shiver, and then you can't stop shivering. That's basically the first sign, and that's really a sign that you got to beware and take care. Stop, eat, drink, put on more clothes, because if you keep going, it's going downhill from there. So once your core temperature starts to go below about 95, you can't do simple tasks anymore because you shiver so much. So lighting a stove, for instance, becomes really a problem. And at that point, it also starts to impair your mental ability. You think, it's going to be fine. You sort of lose your risk perception, and that's going to be really dangerous. So these early stages, you have to recognize with yourself, but also with your team members. If you see someone shaking vigorously, just make them stop, make them put on clothes, eat and drink. If you go even further down the slope, it's highly unlikely that you get that cold just by moving around. It's mostly a risk if something else happens. If you get an injury in your group and you're forced to stay in one place. At those points, serious hypothermia may become a problem. And your muscles grow rigid, you get a blue skin, and if you go below 85, you might get into a problem. Basically, we always say,